Yo, what's up guys, welcome back. So I managed to squeeze in a couple of duels today with Monarchs. I decided to change up the deck a little bit. I was going first a lot, even though I did lose the coin toss like basically half of my games. A lot of people just went second, I guess. I think I ended up today on like silver, some silver rank somewhere, and I won all my matches today, but you know, it's still really early, and most decks aren't really super competitive. So I picked up a couple of replays, the better ones of today, again just to showcase the deck on well, you know, on Master Duel, we know how Domain Monarch works, right? It's a very straightforward deck. As you see, no extra deck, so you don't need to invest gems or, you know, like your currency into getting an extra deck. Plus, on top of that, due to the fact that all are currently on Master Duel, the rank up system is only for singles, so no side deck needed, no, you know, best out of 3. This deck is perfect. You always want to go first. Made some small changes, like add in another Mithra. I believe this is the perfect, you know, the perfect number, like double Edea, double Mithra, and double Eidos. And then the Pendulum, the Pendulum Upstart Goblin, which I eventually added in back again over the Twin Twisters. It's, the thing is that, okay, you can activate it in your Pendulum scale. It will destroy itself if you want, and you can draw 1 card. Plus, on top of that, it has the capability to special summon itself directly to the field in your, you know, extra monster zone, but it will eventually be banished. Now the thing is that, keep in mind, is that if you want to use Stormforth in a turn, or if you have Return of the Monarchs phase up, for example, you can't use your extra deck. So both the, what is it called? Anchamoufrite, you know which one I mean, the Pendulum, right? It doesn't really work too well with Stormforth and Return, both in the same turn, at least when Return is face up on the field, or if you want to use Stormforth in that turn. So it's an iffy one. 3 or 2. Currently I'm leaning towards 3, but again, it needs a bit more testing. And the first one, you saw that Decklist is full Shadows. I actually lost the coin toss, and he let me go first, which is obvious, right? You want to capitalize on your opponent special summoning their extra deck, or at least monsters from your extra deck, so let's say you can use your Shadow Fusion with the greatest of ease and get those free pluses, you know, from using the materials from your deck. But sadly for him, nope, I'm not running a standard extra deck, Zodiac Tri-Brigade or whatever. And this is, I guess, this doesn't really seem too strong, but Erebus, the fact that Erebus picks 1 card at random from your opponent's hand, for example, or forces out like an Imperm or whatever, plus Domain, and, you know, I'm not running an extra deck, so Domain is in full tact. My opponent can't use his extra deck, which is again fantastic against most meta decks. And basically set for next turn, I have Ehther in hand, Pantheism, Foolish, and so on for a potential Edea send. And, I mean, yeah. I guess you could go further, because Shadows do have a couple of ways to, let's say, destroy cards from your opponent. But, I mean, depends on the resources, and I guess, you know, you don't really want to invest too much time, right? So again, going first, I can't remember which matchup this... no, this is Drytron, right. So I go first, and this is definitely, again, another okay hand. Having 1 for 1 definitely helps out, but, okay, discarding Erebus is, of course, one of the best. You can discard like one of your smaller vassals, preferably Edea, to potentially get her, you know, effect of getting back a banished Monarch spell and trap. But the field that you're working towards to is always this. Always get out Domain as fast as possible. I mean, if you're, let's say, go first, take a look at your opponent's extra deck, see if they are running an extra deck, obviously. But again, like the higher up on the ladder, you will play meta top tier decks much sooner, and of course those will be much better. Most of them use or will use an extra deck, so get out Domain as soon as possible. And second, of course, a tribute monster, because the extra deck lock of Domain only works if you have a tribute summoned monster on the field. So Erebus plus Domain is already good against a lot of decks, doesn't really seem too powerful, but against most decks that's strong. March of the Monarchs, I feel, is just a one-off to protect your tribute monsters. I mean, like you see, this is not your this is not a top-tier Drytron decklist. They aren't really running the Drytron fusions. Maybe is it the level 10 one? I believe so. Meteor, yeah, you know which one I mean, and Herald, you know, and the level 2 tuner Herald, you know which one I mean. But Natasha, again, I guess you could, at least the Tritron player could have like went for Link Summon, Natasha, special summon herself back again, right? That would have been terrible, I guess, because then I would not have had Erebus on my, at least in my graveyard. You know, Erebus, its graveyard effect, discard a Monarch spell and trap, right? And get itself back from the graveyard. And here I was like, okay, I have potential 3 draws ready with the draw phase and 2 draws with Pantheism. And I was like, okay, if I draw Vanity's Fiend, it's game for me, because I can get rid of the entire board. The level 12 Tritron Fusion states, I believe it's unaffected. No, it cannot be targeted by spells and traps, I believe. Yeah, but the thing is that's why Monarchs are actually good. It's Stormforth, you know, Stormforth doesn't target, so it kind of bypasses the ritual here. The thing is, again, double tribute summons with Edea and Eidos, you know, the combination of the graveyard effects. Or, you know, banish Eidos, special summon Edea, and so on. So, double tribute summon for the turn. Very important, this one. Go for Erebus first. Get the search off of return, right? I guess searching Ehther, because I already have Stormforth in hand. Because, I mean, imagine if your opponent would survive this. You always want to have the Stormforth Ehther play during your opponent's turn, right? Because, again, Ehther has the capability to tribute summon during your opponent's turn by banishing a Monarch spell and trap from your graveyard. So it's basically more interruptions. And that's why Kuraz is there. I mean, if you're Ehther during your opponent's turn, you can special summon Kuraz and get the pops, right? But yeah, you don't really want to give your opponents, at least your opponent, more draws off of Kuraz. But I mean, it's still iffy. If you can prevent a crucial play from going through, it's definitely good. Last example, again going first. I mean, I don't have too many replays, like a couple of duels today. But most of them, I just went first. People let me go first. I believe this is a full Dark Magician deck. I think so, if I remember correctly. And you saw my opening hand. No, I went second. And you saw my opening 5. It wasn't good. bricks. But the 6th card definitely helped out. And that's why I still prefer Foolish Burial in this deck, because, like, one of the reasons here, you can send Erebus from your deck to the grave, use its graveyard effect, and then discard any Monarch spell and trap, get it back. So it depends. It could be an extender for an extra Monarch, like Erebus, right, Foolish Burial, or you can send, like, Edea from your deck to the graveyard to get her graveyard effect. So again, it's a super versatile card. Huge fan of Foolish, rather than, let's say, Reinforcement of the Army. Because that's still a huge risk, and of course the biggest weakness of this deck is hand traps. And that's, I've seen, you know, people saying that you shouldn't play the vassals, so no Edea, no Eidos. Mithra is good, better, because Mithra can dodge stuff like Imperm, Ash Blossom, or Veiler, right? While, let's say, normal summon Eidos or normal summon Edea, if your opponent has Imperm or Veiler, your turn is probably going to stop, and that's why I added in the escalation of the Monarchs back again to give me more tribute summons, or the potential tribute summon during my opponent's turn. So there's that. So yeah, I mean, this field is, I guess, the best field. No monster effect because of Majesty's Fiend. March of the Monarchs protects all tribute summoned monsters. Return for more pluses plus domain. Your opponent can't use their extra deck, right? So fantastic. So I definitely like the list. So the 3 Pendulum monsters, still iffy, might take one out for, I don't know, maybe hand traps. And again, with hand traps, I mean Maxi. It's pretty much the only hand trap that I'm leaning towards to. But as I've mentioned in one of my previous videos, is that I'm still a bit cautious, because currently, as you know, Master Duel is using like an OCG ban list with some changes. So I'm going to wait it out a couple of days. This weekend we have our remote Duel YCS here in Europe, and maybe we can expect a new TCG ban list next week. And I don't know if Konami is going to implement the TCG ban list on Master Duel, but again, it depends. So I'm a little bit hesitant to use my my craft points, my ultra craft points for the Maxis here. I still don't have them, but for now I think I don't need them yet. But again, I'm just working towards, you know, the letter. I'm currently in silver, I think, but tomorrow is a new day and I'm definitely going to test more. Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. I'll be signing out. Peace.